What's going on YouTube? Cloverbells here, back with another Scarlet Violet video, and today we're going to be spotlighting Kanto Articuno. I was going to do Zapdos today, to be honest, because Zapdos has been the more competitive option right now, but when I saw the results of an earlier tournament today, I just couldn't pass up trying to spotlight this thing. I think it's super creative, the winning team that really used it. But first, let's talk about Articuno in general. And why it wasn't really used competitively back in like Sword and Shield. So the one cool thing that it gets now is the access to getting that defense boost from Snow from the Abomasnow, right? And that's actually what the winning team had, which we'll look at in a second. But if you just look at this, this idea of getting a defense boost in the Snow. All right, look at Articuno's bulk: 100 defense, again 90 HP, 125 special defense. Okay, so it's a very bulky. I think it's the bulkiest of the three birds. Now, the ice typing isn't all that great. Of course, it has a lot of weaknesses, but it also has good offensive coverage. And, adding on the flying typing doesn't really do it much justice either. You're 4 times weak to rock types, but you have terrestrialization now. Okay, so that's the main thing. Okay, so now what you're going to do is add the fact that you can have Snow Cloak. And what the winning team had was this idea of Bright Powder. Okay, so now you're coupling the fact that you're going to be missing attacks, due to Bright Powder and the Snow Cloak. And if you don't know what Snow Cloak does, it'll raise your stage, your evasiveness by 1.25. Basically, think of like the Sword of Ruin ideas, or like the the Treasures of Ruin abilities, but the opposite end. So now if you do like a little bit of quick math, basically this is 0.75. Okay, and then you multiply this by the Bright Powder idea, 0.9. All right, I would assume I'm doing this right. And that means your attacks are basically, if they're 100% accurate, they're only going to hit this Articuno for 67.5% of the time. That's actually kind of nuts, right? You consider the fact that you're complaining about moves like Hydro Pump that hit about 80-85% of the time, and now all of a sudden your moves are only hitting this thing for 67% of the time, and it's already bulky enough as it is. And now you can just add the fact that it can Roost, all right, and heal all that damage over time, and then just spam Blizzard, because of the Snow idea. That's just insane. Okay, so then Articuno is just spamming Blizzard, spamming Roost, spamming Blizzard. Okay, and you're not even hitting this thing. Okay. And then what was really creative from the winning team, which I will now show, is that it was running also the Terra Blast, Terra Water, which is actually a very smart Terra option here. But so, by the way, let's show this tournament. So this was the Sprout Tower Regulation D tournament, and it was won by Chad Gaming 16. So shout outs to Chad Gaming 16 for this super cool Snow team with Abomasnow here, and there's also a Chien-Pao here, which we'll get into in a second. But basically, Freeze Dry, Blizzard, Terra Blast, and Roost. Okay, by the way, I might add that, if you want to play with this archetype, Articuno also gets access to Tailwind. So if you want a little bit more speed control on your Articuno, you can definitely go for that. But Chad Gaming says, no, we don't need Tailwind. Okay, we just need to rely on bulk. Okay, we're going to have all our opponent's attacks miss on us. We don't need speed control because, again, at the end of the day, if the opponent is not hitting us, what does it matter, right? Then you just spam Blizzard, spam Freeze Dries, and then Abomasnow, same idea. You get the Aurora Veil. Now you also put Articuno behind screens, so now it's even bulkier. Okay, so now you're going to have an even harder time removing it. Okay, but yeah, it's a really cool creative team. And then if you just look at the other 3 options here, besides the Elecki, look, Rapid Strike Urshifu, Chien-Pao, Dragonite, 3 of the, hyper offensive core that you want on this team. The other one being like the Tornadoes, but you don't need Tornadoes here. Your speed control is coming from this Choice Scarf Regieleki with electroweb. Okay, we haven't really featured or showcased the Electroweb on this channel all that much in our Regulation D content, but Choice Scarf with electroweb basically outspeeds everything. Even stuff like Iron Bundle with the booster energy that just goes kaput. Okay, and then but what was interesting here is this Zap Cannon idea. This is a 50% accurate move, so I'm not sure about this one. But hey, they probably figured, hey, I don't got any other better electric move. Might as well just slap this one on here and just give me an out in certain scenarios where maybe like Thunderbolt just doesn't pick up the KO. So yeah, and then from here, the Abomasnow Rocky Helmet. So if you want to like use physical moves on it, you get to chip them with the Rocky Helmet, break Sash, break Multiscale, and from there, it's just a Blizzard Spammer, an Aurora Veil setter. You get access to Ice Shard now, a priority move. So it's actually super cool. Okay, and if you look at this, right, how many priority moves do you have here? You got Ice Shard, you got Extreme Speed from Dragonite, you also have Aqua Jet if you need it, then you have Sucker Punch, and then you also have Aqua Jet here. So 1, 2, 3, you got 4 Pokemon here with priority moves. So and then at the same time you got the fastest Pokemon on your team with the Choice Scarf. So do you really need Tailwind? I don't really think so. So you have all these priority moves, but this is actually really cool to utilize here. And I was talking to the guy who got in 3rd place over here, Corrupted One, you know, who was using this variant of a team. This is something that, you know, I was using a little bit earlier, but instead we had the Landorus Incarnate instead of the Landorus Darien, and they said that they missed 4 straight attacks against the Articuno, which is actually kind of funny. Okay, if you're gonna miss all those attacks, you know, you might as well miss to the winner, right? But again, it's a super cool squad. And then don't overlook the fact that Chien-Pao also gets this boost to the snow, as well as the, you know, again, adding to the Aurora Veil, right? Because think about how frail Chien-Pao is, but now you add the Aurora Veil, and then you add the defense boost that you're getting from snow, and now all of a sudden the Chien-Pao is also bulky enough as well. Okay, same thing here with the Dragonite. You know, you're just basically clicking Choice Band moves behind the Veil. Same thing with Rapid Strike Urshifu, Mystic Water, you know, super hard-hitting attacks behind this Veil. You know, really good idea and concept here behind with the Kanto Articuno Abomasnow stuff. But this is the essence of the team. So, you know, again, they were running Blizzard, they were running Freeze Dry, Roost, and then Terra Blast, Terra Water. Now, this is actually really good. Okay, because consider Articuno's weaknesses. You're weak to fire, you're weak to rock, you're weak to steel, and you're weak to fire, rock, steel. There's one fighting, right? So now all of a sudden you go Terra Water, you resist the steel moves, you resist the fire moves, and now you're taking neutral attacks from the other 2 types that are normally super effective against you. And now with access to Terra Blast, Terra Water, now, you know, who are you hitting? You're hitting those Arcanines, you're hitting those Chius, you're hitting those Cleavers, basically anything that's weak to water. You're hitting all these fire types that are running around. You can hit him, and then at the same time, look, Freeze Dry, who are you hitting? Amoonguss. You're hitting Urshifu Water, right? You're hitting the Terra Grass Heattrans that are running around, right? And if the Heatran doesn't Terra Grass, you got Terra Blast for that thing as well. So, and then at the same time, you're hitting Dragonite too. So it's actually really good in terms of coverage. The fact that you get Ice and Water over here, and then of course you get the ever epic 100% accurate Blizzard. Now again, Articuno's base special attack of 95 isn't all that great, but at the same time, you know, if your opponent is not really hitting you for much damage, or not even hitting you anyway, okay, because of the Snow Cloak Bright Powder, it doesn't matter if you're not dealing so much damage, because, you know, you're just gonna slowly chip them down. They're gonna miss 57 attacks, and then the one hit that they do land, you can just roost it, and then just keep clicking your Freeze Dries and Blizzards and Terra Blasts until the cows come home, right? So it's actually a really cool idea to utilize Articuno like this. And if you might ask, like, why wasn't this used in Sword and Shield, right? Dynamax moves don't miss, so it wasn't really helpful there. And then at the same time, you know, when you were a Dynamax option, you didn't really do all that much damage because Articuno's, again, special attacks, that wasn't all that great. You had to do stuff like Weakness Policy, of course. And then again, there was no Terrestrialization around back then. And then there was also Regieleki running around, so that was also a thing that you had to watch out for, especially now that you are Terra Water. So, you know, you do have to watch out for stuff like a Lecky and then the Iron Hands. But again, you know, you got to hit the Articuno. And then at the same time, you do have the Veil to protect you. And now what you would do is just like EV basically for like almost all bulk. I don't know their EV spreads here from Chad Gaming 16, but like, if I had to like do something in terms of like an EV spread, you know, with no Tailwind support and just relying on the priority moves and the Elecki speed control, this is what I would do. I would just do something like this. I would go up to 120. Maybe even this might be too much speed, but hey, I would even just go right here, maybe like to the first bump here, maybe even like the second bump. Okay, then just go like max HP, you know, and then just split up this bulk like this, right? Something like this. Okay. And then from there, like, you know, what this 120 does, again, after a -1, you just outspeed the other genies, you know, thanks to the electroweb for that matter. But then even then, you don't even have to run this much attack. You could do something like this, drop it down to like maybe just the first bump, and then just put, you know, a bunch more investment here, you know, just to get like even numbers from the Veil. You could do something like this. Okay, again, I have no idea what their spread was, but you know, this is just my assumption as to what I think they were trying to do, right? You just invest in your bulk, a little bit of attack, and then just a little bit of speed, you know, because at the same time, your strength relies on your bulk and dealing damage behind it, and then just having your opponents miss all those attacks, right? So it's a super cool idea. And again, even if you don't really use the Articuno, you just got Urshifu, you got Chien-Pao, you got Dragonite, and then Regieleki. These are 4 of the hardest hitting Pokemon that we have right now, okay? And then you can just use that core and leave the snow guys behind, right? So you can always do that. But again, it's just a really super cool idea to try and utilize this. And I commend Chad16 Gaming for doing this kind of way of utilizing the Kantonian Articuno, right? You can't even get Galarian Articuno some play, and now all of a sudden we're saying that this Articuno is now, you know, decent enough where we can win a tournament in Regulation D, you know, thanks to terrestrialization and the fact that we're getting a defense boost from the snow. So yeah, I really had to spotlight this today. You know, Zapdos is coming tomorrow. It was originally supposed to come today, but I really like this team. I think it's super smart and creative in trying to do this. And you might say, well, it's just slapping Abomasnow to it, and you might as well. Yeah, but you know, Bright Powder and Snow Cloak. You know, it's just a combination you don't really see all that often in VGC, especially during the Dynamax era. But now that there's no Dynamax, you can probably make use of this. I wonder if you can just utilize this. Maybe I've seen this a couple times with like Sandveil, Garchomp, and then Bright Powder. I think that was in some top cut results in some regionals. I just, you know, look past it, you know, with Garchomp and Tyranitar stuff. So maybe Articuno can actually do something now in a format like this, that thanks to the new upgrades that Snow is getting. But yeah, in terms of like Zap Cannon, I don't know about this one. Maybe, you know, you can just slap on another move there. Were you able to slap on a move here? Let me just take a look at what Regieleki can do besides Zap Cannon. As far as like another one, you can also technically do Ancient Power here. This is also interesting. I don't think you need to do Explosion. Remember, they were going like a Scarf build. You can't really do Thunder. You don't have the rain on your side. I don't think this is good. Did you have Volt Switch already? You did have Volt Switch. So Thunderbolt, Volt Switch, E-Webs, those are the 3 main attacks. It does get Charge Beam though, so this is also interesting. I would probably just at least go with this. You know, raise your special attack, keep spamming this. This is also something. Electro Ball, actually. Wait, why not just use this? Just use Electro Ball. Did we really have to use Zap Cannon? I want to know the reasoning, you know, the idea of Zap Cannon. I guess maybe the paralysis just gives you an out in certain situations, but hey, you know, Electro Ball seems like something you can just add here. But other than that, hey, I like it a lot. I think it's something worth to try. If I had a rental, I would probably use this on the channel. But yeah, let me know what you guys think of Articuno. It does have a niche. All right, I'm not saying that this is the spread for it, but you know, in terms of the idea behind it, I guess I like it a lot because it's bulky and you can just deal damage behind those screens, right? And the ice and water coverage is really good, you know, into the meta at the moment. Just considering, like, if you look at the top 20 or 30 Pokemon even, you could do relatively well. And as long as you got screens from Abomasnow, you can just heal all that damage and just keep spamming this and make players angry because they're missing their moves. Okay, but yeah, we'll be back with another video in the next one, folks. Peace out and have a good one. Zapdos tomorrow.